If you run a small nonprofit, somebody has probably told you that something is better than nothing when it comes to bookkeeping. Here's the thing most executive directors don't realize. Bad books are roughly 5 times more expensive to fix than no books at all. And the cheapest path forward isn't perfect books. It's saved records. So, in the next 8 minutes, the 5 most expensive mistakes we see, why cleanup scales the way it does, what to save right now, and why nonprofit accounting is a different discipline. Let's get into it. When a nonprofit calls us, the first conversation almost always sounds like one of 2 things. The first one, we've been doing our books in QuickBooks for 3 years. Our bookkeeper just left. We need someone to take over. What that usually means, 3 years of transactions in the wrong accounts, restricted funds never tracked, and a Form 990 filed using whatever the book said. The second one, we've never really kept books. We have bank statements and receipts. And here's what surprises people. That second nonprofit gets to clean financials faster and cheaper every time because cleanup isn't entering transactions. It's investigating, undoing, and re-entering. In our experience, no books with intact records takes about 1/5 the hours of bad books. So these are the 5 patterns we see most often. If 2 or more sound familiar, your books are creating risk faster than clarity. 1, misclassified income, restricted grants entered as unrestricted, program fees coded as donations. All of that cascades right into Form 990, Part E8, and your audit. 2, no restricted fund tracking. Under FASB-ASC 958, every dollar has to be classified with or without donor restrictions. Skip this, and 2 years later you can't tell your board what's actually available to spend. 3, mixed personal and org expenses. ED uses the org card for a personal coffee, forgets to pay it back. Now multiply that by dozens of small mix-ups over 2 years. This is often the single biggest source of cleanup pain. 4, no monthly close. Books that nobody reconciles to the bank statement at month end just drift from reality. A year unreconciled can hide a missing $20,000. Or fraud. 5, no functional expense allocation. Form 990 Part 9 requires expenses split across program, management, and fundraising. Skip it, and 100% of your salaries dump into management, which destroys your overhead ratio in every funder's eyes. Okay, so why does bad bookkeeping actually cost 5 times more? 2 main reasons. First, investigation time dominates. You're not just entering what happened, you're figuring out what someone thought happened, what actually happened, and bridging the 2. Second, one wrong entry corrupts many months. A misclassified asset affects every depreciation calculation, every comparative report, every audit. So, for a typical $250K to $1 million nonprofit, here's what it looks like. Best case, no books, intact records, rebuild from scratch, $2,000 to $5,000. Worst case, bad books with partial records. Investigate, undo, re-enter, $8,000 to $25,000. Same ending. 3 to 5 times the price. Unrecoverable, bad books and missing records. Sometimes the only option is a fresh accounting file and accepting that prior years can't be restated. This is the most important section of the video. If you take only one thing away, take this. You don't need to do bookkeeping today to make bookkeeping possible tomorrow. You just need to preserve the records. So save everything in these categories. Bank and credit card statements, every month, every account. Donor records, receipts, acknowledgement letters, restricted fund instructions, grant agreements, original document with restriction terms, payroll records, W-2S, W-3S, Form 941S, 1099S. IRS requires 4 years minimum. Vendor invoices and receipts, all of them. Board minutes, articles of incorporation, bylaws, IRS determination letter, permanent retention. Form 990 and supporting work papers for 3 years minimum from filing date. IRS guidance on this is explicit. 501c3. Organizations must keep records adequate to demonstrate compliance. Bank statements and source documents are what make later reconstruction possible. Without them, even the best CPA can only guess. So, if your budget today doesn't include a bookkeeper, file every statement, keep every donor letter, save every receipt. The bookkeeping can wait. The evidence can't. So, Why does a generalist bookkeeper, should be even a good one, produce books that need to be redone? 3 structural differences. 1. Fund accounting. FASBAS C 958 requires every dollar tracked as with or without donor restrictions from the moment it arrives through the moment it's spent on its intended purpose. 2. Functional expense allocation. Form 990 Part 9 requires salaries and other expenses split across program management and fundraising, usually with a documented time study. 3. Contribution revenue recognition. Under ASU 2018-08, donations are recognized when promised, not when received. Conditional grants only when conditions are met. These aren't nuances. They're structural decisions that affect every month-end report, every 990, every audit. A generalist who doesn't know them will produce books that need redoing. And here's where the math gets painful. A nonprofit hires a generalist bookkeeper at $25 to $40 an hour, thinking they're saving money compared to a nonprofit specialized firm at $75 to $150 an hour. 3 years and $30,000 later, the books don't meet nonprofit standards. Cleanup runs $15,000 to $25,000. Total, $45,000 to $55,000. So to end up where they would have been at $30,000 to $40,000 with the specialist from day one. Net loss, roughly 30% to 50%. And we've watched this exact arithmetic play out dozens of times. It's not the generalist's fault. They just weren't trained for the structural specifics. Nonprofit accounting is a specialty, not a footnote. 3 signals it's time for a nonprofit specialized accountant. 1, you file the full Form 990, receipts at $200,000 or more, or assets at $500,000 or more. 2, you receive any donor-restricted grants. 3, you're approaching the single audit threshold of $1 million in federal awards. And 3 questions to ask anyone you interview. 1, what percentage of your clients are 501c3 nonprofits? You want more than 50% minimum, ideally over 80. 2, walk me through how you'd track a $50,000 multi-year donor-restricted grant. Listen for separate class tracking scheduled release entries. 3, how do you handle functional expense allocation? Listen for documented methodology, time studies, consistent application. A generalist will get vague. A specialist will have specific answers. 2 takeaways. 1, even if you can't afford a bookkeeper this year, save every statement, every donor letter, every receipt. The full records checklist is in the description. 2, when you do hire a nonprofit specialist from day one. Not a generalist with a "we also work with nonprofits" tagline, someone whose practice is built on it. The math says specialist from the start beats generalist plus cleanup by 30% to 50% every time. If you're hiring for the first time or are thinking about switching, GivingArc does bookkeeping and Form 990 prep for small nonprofits. Nonprofit accounting is the only thing we do. Free 30-minute consultation in the description. But honestly, whether it's us or someone else, start with the specialist. Subscribe if this helped. Thanks for watching.